Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of two idiots answering your questions about the expansive Star Trek universe. The views expressed in this podcast are exclusively our own, not influenced by the Borg or a Romulan thoughtmaker. Trekkie and a half is not suitable for human children, but we assume Vulcans are fine. Grab your comm badge and tricorder, jump into Warp 6, and boldly go where no podcast has gone before. Thank you for listening. Live long and prosper.
Hey there, I'm Alex.
Hi, I'm TJ.
Welcome to Trekkie and a Half, a show about all things Star Trek.
A lot of Star Trek questions being answered and a lot of more questions being asked because sometimes people are dumb. And those people are us.
Are you saying you have to have a very high IQ to understand Star Trek, TJ?
Star Trek is a lot like Rick and Morty in the sense that you have to
Hey there, I'm Pickle Kirk!
Have an extremely high IQ to understand what's happening in Star Trek.
Romulan sauce.
Like warp. Like Yammic sauce. So yeah, it's very similar in that you have to be very smart to understand Star Trek. It's not one of those simpleton TV shows that just anyone can get into. You have to know a lot about space and
relativity
and Einstein and stuff. Not just, your average Joe. It's not, they just wouldn't get it. They just wouldn't get the subtle nuances.
If you don't get a boner over science, you're not allowed to watch Star Trek.
That's actually 100% true.
Then I guess I can't watch Star Trek anymore.
All I do, well, you can still watch it if you just get a boner from Star Trek, you're allowed.
If you only get like halfway there, you're on thin ice. So what happened today, TJ?
Oh, nothing, once again. Yeah, I couldn't find anything. Thanks for bringing attention to it, though. That was
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that.
That was really cool of you.
March is always going to be the shittiest month, no matter what it's...
Yeah, I can't find anything, but we're probably going to get a bunch of, emails. That
yeah,
are,
just being like, you missed this random trader's birthday. You idiots.
Yeah, it might be. I'm very sorry about that.
Sorry, I don't have an encyclopedic...
We're posting on Wednesday instead of Tuesday because I had to do musician things on Tuesday. So we're already off our game.
Yeah, it's just one hit after another, really.
Honestly, we're having some difficulties with this, but we're gonna keep doing it because we enjoy it. And because
we do this for us, not for you.
Not for you. Hey, if you're listening, get out.
This is not for you.
We're not doing this for you. We're doing this.
This is for us.
We like Star Trek and we like talking about it, and we need an outlet.
And we like talking to each other because we're friends, at least sorta.
That's debatable. Anyway,
that's fair.
Yeah. Let's start off the podcast. Let's start it off with an intro.
All right. Well, I have a question for you.
Okay, say.
It's not an opinion question, but I want you to tell me who the best starship captain is out of success
starship
on crew.
Captain, or does Cisco count?
What? Oh yeah, Cisco can count.
Is it just starships, or is it just captains in general?
Just captains in general, and it's not based on morality. It's more based on how many crew members did they lose in the course of their show.
Okay, yeah, but I don't have an exact... Oh, yeah, let me just check. Oh, good thing I have the, I actually have the number of every character that, I have the exact amount of all characters that died under each captain tattooed on my ass. Let me just give that a quick look. What do you mean?
Okay, sorry, I meant to phrase that better. Just the most efficient captain, like the captain who is able to get the most done.
First of all, I never judge any captain by morality because, listen, some of the best captains have done some definitely morally dubious stuff, and that's something that's carried on. Like, you're watching, let's just start with Kirk. Let's just start at the beginning. Let's start with Kirk. And when you look at Kirk, as a captain, no doubt very good. I mean, at least the main crew, they stay alive. It's pretty, there are some iffy situations, there are some tough calls.
But that's to be expected when you're exploring space.
But, I would say in terms of captains, he's pretty good. He gets labeled as, a womanizer. But I feel like he drinks his respect woman juice. Kirk is very soft, and I like him, and he gets the job done, and also he punches Klingons.
And sometimes he rolls around in the dirt with his best friend.
And sometimes he rolls around in the dirt. Very good captain overall. 10 out of 10. Love Kirk. Plus, he's he's out there. Well, I guess you could say he's not the original because technically Pike and also Archer, which come before him chronologically. But I'm going to say, given that he was the first captain, not technically Pike, but whatever, screw Pike. Let's just pretend Pike doesn't exist because that was such garbage. But
yeah, that pilot episode, was really awful.
Rough. I'm actually surprised at the show that they let it keep going after that pilot.
Yeah, they saw that flaming pile of garbage and were like,
It had its good things and bad things, but I just think Kirk sort of was a pioneer in terms of captaining. He definitely pushed his limits. Prime directive, whom, but I genuinely enjoy him as a captain. I like watching him do his thing. Next Generation, Picard, as a captain, he is very low on, my list of favorites. And I know we're debating, pros and cons of each. I would say cons of Kirk are that,
he's kind of impulsive.
He's very impulsive, and he does sort of get distracted. There is sort of, he feels, morally responsible at times. Whereas Picard, the pros are, the thing about Picard is that he's very philosophical. One thing I don't like about him as a captain is that he is very, he tries to be very morally light and morally good, sort of on the right side of history. The problem is that sort of, he paints the Federation as being, morally above, just morally good. They are the good, and the not Federation
Don't care for that too much.
Yeah, but, no, it's just sort of, you don't get, in Next Generation, you don't get the perspective. I feel with Kirk, you definitely got more of a, he was just out there. He didn't, I don't know. I don't like captains who sort of don't take into account, cultural differences. After Next Generation, going into Deep Space Nine and Voyager, two of my favorite captains right there, right off the bat. I like Picard because he definitely tries to be in charge. He's an executive force, and he obviously he's very intelligent. The way he runs his crew, I find it very efficient. Especially given that his crew is sort of not standard. It's very different because of Data and Worf, and LaForge has his visor and everything. So I would say that under the circumstances, Picard, he's a good captain. Obviously, they're all good captains, I would say.
Or else they wouldn't be captains.
But he's just, I don't know. I have to say, Janeway and Sisko. Now, there are two captains that I definitely enjoy. And people like to argue that you can't use Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, whatever, in arguments, or Discovery, in arguments about Star Trek, because technically they came out after Roddenberry, they aren't Gene Roddenberry approved, which I think is such, garbage. It's still Star Trek.
That's some purist nerd
Well,
garbage.
The thing about Star Trek that I like is that a lot of, when you come into this sort of fan base, it's not supposed to matter how much you've watched. Even if you just watch the original series, or you watch the movies, or you watch only Next Generation, or only Deep Space Nine, it doesn't matter because you're still a Star Trek fan. And we're all lonely at heart. So it's
We're all one big happy family.
I like to think that we're not purists, but there definitely are people out there that like to pretend that there's some sort of entry required to be a Star Trek fan. So if you like Deep Space Nine or Voyager or whatever, you're not a real Star Trek fan because that's technically to them not Star Trek, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Which, especially because Janeway and Sisko are two of my favorite captains of all time. Like, this is just my opinion, obviously.
And they're two of your, like, favorite series, too.
Yeah. Well, they're just very morally... They're much more morally ambiguous than their predecessors. Whereas, like, Kirk and Picard are very, like, we're gonna do the right thing. You know, like, damn the consequences.
Very gung-ho about the Federation, usually.
Yeah, very, very passionate, like, gonna do the right thing, going to do what they think is right, and that's the way that things have to be done. Whereas...
Meanwhile, Sisko would be like, I'm not telling you not to mess with the Federation,
Janeway and Sisko
but...
are so, like... They know what they have to do, and people hate on Janeway all the time because she's done some shady stuff, obviously. But they did what they did because in their minds, it might not have been the morally righteous thing to do, but it was, in the end, the right decision.
Yeah, the end justifies the means.
Like, help. They were trying to make a situation better. When you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you have to make a hard decision like that because you're the captain, obviously there's going to be some blood on your hands, and there's going to be some bad things that happen that you're technically responsible for. Which I really love. I love this about Janeway and Sisko because they really take into account the difficult decisions you have to make as a captain, the difficult calls you have to make, and how you can let that weigh on your conscience. Like, Sisko, I think, in Deep Space Nine, like, has a quote that's like, Deep Space Nine is full of these shades of gray. Because usually with Star Trek, what we've seen before with the original series and Next Generation is you've got this sort of like black and white mentality. There's good and there's evil. And that is, you know, good. It has pros, but it also has cons. Where it's like, okay, well, if you guys are the good guys and those are the evil guys, where are we? It's very, like, especially because Next Generation tries to be very philosophical. Whereas I find, like, Deep Space Nine and Voyager to be very philosophical in just the, like, how the show is, how the show is run, how the Federation is depicted, how they're willing to make those tough decisions. Like, they both do things that they're not proud of, but they both would go back and do it again if they had to, which I think is very stand-up-ish. What were you going to say?
I think, like, with Deep Space Nine and Voyager, they kind of write it less like, I don't know, the original series and more like another TV show, and I think that's kind of a good thing because you get these deeper storylines. Because I love the original series with my whole heart, but they were more focused on like one-off episodes. You know what I mean?
Well, that's another thing too. Is that what happened was well, Deep Space Nine. What happened was that they weren't going to do the Dominion War plot. Like, it was supposed to be each episode.
I would love to live in that universe.
Was like a one-off, and that's just how it was going to be. Like, there would be no like dark, gritty war idea. But what happened was, I think one of the directors got sick or something, or replaced. So it's that, like, they weren't going to do it, and then somebody new got brought on, and they were like, hell yeah, we're going to do the war idea. So that's, you know, they focus on that, which is like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Definitely, but here's the thing. As much as you can complain about the Dominion War plot arc, it definitely brings into account, like, Sisko as a captain. Definitely. Like, the things that he does. Like, the Romulan senator gets assassinated. And even though he's not the one who did the actual assassinating, that's still something that he, like, allowed to happen. Because it had to happen. They had to get the Romulans in the war on their side, or else they would probably, like, so many people would die. So it brings into question, is it worth it? Letting, you know, one Romulan senator die, or having millions of people be killed because the Romulans don't enter. That's what I really like about those shows. So when you're talking about captains and how they run things, and just how they are as leaders, yes, Kirk was amazing. Kirk was definitely a pioneer in the whole Star Trek, being a captain, doing good things. Yes, I love Kirk, don't get me wrong. He's definitely near the top of my list. Picard is slightly lower because I feel like he felt that he was morally superior. I don't know. Something about the way that he handled some situations left me iffy.
Very, like, holier than thou sort of thing.
Yeah, which I guess isn't fair because, like, a lot of the times, you know, he could be considered right. So that's not really fair of me to say, but that's just the vibe that I got from how he ran the ship, so I'm sorry if you're like, don't get me wrong, I love all the captains. Do not get me wrong. I'm just saying if you're asking me who I think is the best captain, so I'm just going down. Sisko, for me, is my number one. Sisko is my number one captain for a lot of reasons. One, that, like, yeah, the whole Romulan Senator thing happened. The whole episode where he does all these illegal activities because he asks for Garrick's help because he knows that he needs to get the Romulans on the Federation side. And he's willing to do whatever it takes. And he has this whole big monologue at the end of the episode where he basically comes out and says, like, I did these bad things and I can live with it, and I will live with it, and if I had to go back, I would do it all again. He's that sure of himself, and I think as a leader, that's a good quality, and I feel like weighing the pros and cons is not easy if you're in that position, and I feel like Sisko really, and obviously Picard and Kirk and Janeway and Archer all had to make the same kinds of decisions. I'm just saying the way that Deep Space Nine executed it as a TV show, the way that the scenes were written, the way that everything happened to make it all click into place, that was really good for me. Janeway, in this... What?
I was going to say, and another thing with Deep Space Nine, I feel like Sisko has a lot more, like, sway over things than other captains previously.
Yes! No, the reason that Sisko... I feel like this was even brought in, like, the beginning of the show. The reason that Sisko is such a good captain to me is that he's willing to stick his fingers in a lot of shady pies to get what he wants. When Garrick is on the station and Sisko is like, you're gonna help us do this thing, and Garrick is like, no, I'm not, and Sisko is like,
when he first shows up, Julian's like, oh my god, a spy, sir, should we get him out of here? And he's like, you should go meet him.
Julian goes
Wink.
to Ops and says, hey, I found this person, I found this Cardassian, I think he might be a spy, and Sisko says, you're going to hang out with him. And just stuff like Sisko really, in the scheme of things, knew what he had to do to get what he wanted. He extorted people. He sent Julian to Garrick a lot of times. Like, Julian went to Sisko, and I do believe that he told him about Section 31 and how he was propositioned, and Sisko was like, okay, say yes. Like, we need to find out more
a man on the
about
van.
Section 31, which ultimately would lead to Julian Bashir being miserable, being traumatized so badly he ends up on a catatonic state in Cardassia. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild. So, like, Sisko is willing to do bad things for the greater good. And that's sort of like his vibe as a captain. Janeway, although some of her actions are definitely questionable, a lot of people don't like her because of the things she's done. She's caused a lot of, I don't know, harm. I don't know if you would say harm.
Trauma.
To people. She's done bad things. But once again, look at her situation. Look at the impossible situation that she's found herself in. By the time that Voyager actually, in her mind, while all this is going down, by the time Voyager actually gets home, she may already be dead. This is just stuff that's, like, it's a tough situation. I feel like the way that a captain handles these situations is really important, and Janeway was in a stressful, dead-end situation to begin with. So seeing her act under that pressure actually says a lot more than when it's like, oh, Picard almost died for, like, the 10th time. I don't know. Like, I definitely
it's
have
like
my
when you give
captains.
When you give a captain, like, more responsibility over other people's lives, I feel like that makes them a better captain. Like, I know Picard and Kirk, like, they have, like, their starship, but, like, Janeway has...
Okay, they're responsible for everyone's lives, too, though.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know, with Deep Space Nine, it's like, he has this entire, like, space station, basically, that's, like, super important outpost next to a wormhole that was freshly discovered.
Yeah, but
and Janeway's gonna know these people for 70 years.
I don't want to give captains credit just because their show is different. Because, like, I feel like that's something you can't help. Like, especially with
I feel
Enterprise.
like Picard still would have ran a space station differently.
Oh no, that's even brought into like light when it's Sisko, and I think it's definitely near the beginning of the show, I believe. But he's doing something shady, and somebody is like, that's not what Picard would do. And Sisko is like,
I'm not Picard.
I'm not Picard. That's what he says. It's definitely sort of, and that brings to light, like he's reminding the audience that this is a new Star Trek show. This is a new captain. This is someone that's not going to be pushed around by sort of like society's views of right and wrong. He is going to do what he needs to do. And I really enjoy that in a captain. Like, obviously Picard did what he needed to do, but he did it with a strong sense of like, is this right? Is this wrong? Will this weigh on my conscience? Am I being like a righteous person right now? Like, how is this, going to reflect on me? Whereas Sisko was like, I'm doing it. Like, that
Fuck it, we're doing it.
It might make me a bad person, but we're doing it. Like, no, like, and that's just how we ran things.
Wasn't there an episode where Picard showed up on Deep Space Nine?
Riker showed up, and
yeah,
Picard was the unfortunate thing about Picard is that by the end of Next Generation, he gets assimilated. So Riker shows up on Deep Space Nine, but it's not anyway. Yeah, no, he does. Riker shows up, but it's like a thing. And I think no, because Picard is in the beginning of Deep Space Nine. He's talking to Sisko in the pilot, I believe.
Oh, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
Because Picard was assimilated to the Borg, and
did he ever get past that?
Yeah, he's good. But here's the thing. Part of where he was, his whole Borg thing attacked the ship on which Sisko's wife died. So
that was pretty fucked up.
There's sort of some resentment.
Just start a Star Trek series off. Hey, watch this man's wife die before your eyes.
Deep Space Nine, even though it's not Gene Roddenberry approved, even though people like to say that it's not really Star Trek, and I know that I'm sort of skipping over the amazing things that happen in Voyager and Enterprise right now, and I'm focusing on Deep Space Nine. But you have to understand this is my favorite Star Trek series of all time, and I could talk about it for probably hours. I won't, but I could. It's new. The thing that I like about Deep Space Nine is that before Deep Space Nine, I had watched the original series and Next Generation. So when I watched Deep Space Nine, I didn't know what to expect. I knew that it took place on a space station, which was completely like a new idea for me. I only had previous experience with other shows. So when I started to watch Deep Space Nine, and everything, like the plot it was grittier. It reads more like a space drama than the original series does.
It's because of like the bottle setting, which I just really enjoy, because you can like put more stress on the station.
Yeah, no, and there's more aliens, and yeah, when you have a ton of people living together, you get to see the reactions to each other. You get to hear about more cultures from being on the station.
It's a much more human experience. Forgive my humanist, but...
No, it's absolutely... Yeah. I love Deep Space Nine. I think that, like, Sisko is my favorite captain just because of how he... And I know that the whole, like, prophet, like, wormhole stuff doesn't really appeal to a lot of people. It didn't appeal to me. Definitely during, like, near the end of the show when it got really bad, I was like, oh, this again.
Like, they ignore it for, like, 9 seasons and bring it back at the very end.
Oh my God,
hey, remember this?
It's so bad. I really don't know why that was a thing that happened, especially when they just took him. The show literally ends with Sisko just disappearing because the prophets, took him or whatever.
They took him?
Yeah, he's just gone. So, like, and they don't know when he's gonna come back. So there's this big scene where it's everyone in Deep Space Nine and it's ending and they're at Vix, which is this holosuite bar they all go to hang out at, because they're all best friends. And they're hanging out at Vix and Sisko's just not there because he's gone. Because he had to take down... I cannot believe that Dukat managed to be the villain for every season. I cannot believe it.
He's a crafty fellow.
Oh my god, literally so awful. So yeah, you asked me who the best Archer. I'm not getting into Discovery right now. I feel like it's too new. History will, one day we'll look back and we'll be able to judge how things go on Discovery. But for right now, we're going to focus on, like, completed.
And also, we don't have access to it.
We will, eventually.
One day.
One day, we can look back and judge it for, one day. Maybe it'll be on Netflix. Whatever.
Please.
So, Archer, as a captain, Enterprise really rubbed me the wrong way for a lot of reasons.
This is the one I know literally nothing about.
It's like the characters are good. It's one of those cases of excellent characters, bad writing that just really grinds my gears because they deserve, probably better. Because the characters, every time I see people that are fans of Enterprise, and Enterprise is like their #1 series, I'm always like, what attracted you to this show? And usually what they talk about are the characters. Just how much they love so-and-so, especially because they're actual, like, Andorians on that show. There is, like, a main lead, like, woman Vulcan, which is interesting. So it's just stuff like that. Like, they definitely have good characters, like Shran and T'Pol, but ultimately I feel like it left a lot to be desired. Just because they tried to do, like, in the beginning, like, that sort of thing, like a prequel, which is fine. But, like, I don't know. I just feel like Archer as a captain...
Prequels never go good for any series.
The thing is, first of all, the Star Wars prequels are the best parts. I know what you're talking about. Shut the hell up. Second of all, you've derailed my train of thought.
With one simple comment, I've managed to derail the entire podcast.
Ruined my train of thought. I'm actually so upset.
You're welcome.
Okay, so that's that for that.
What's his face?
What?
The characters being good.
Archer?
They tried to do a prequel.
Oh yeah, it's just that Archer, the thing I liked about Archer, definitely the pros, is that he was literally making shit up. Like...
Which is a big mood.
Because nobody, this was, like, really new. This was, like, the beginning of Starfleet, and he was trying to captain a ship where this was all, like, a new experience. So, like, the thing I like about Enterprise as a show is that if you're into, like Starfleet lore and stuff like that, Enterprise is definitely a must-watch. I feel like they really set the tone for, like, Starfleet and the Federation, whatever, definitely with Enterprise, the way that they do it. So, like, Archer as a captain, he gets shit done. It's a little hectic for, like, a lot of reasons. Because
he was the first one doing everything.
Yeah, no, so you have to give him credit for that, at least. Because there's not like there was a handbook. Like, even when Kirk was captaining and, like, doing all this stuff and doing all this these crazy shenanigans, he was going from a... He had a book. Archer didn't even have a book. He was like, well, I hope this works out.
He was writing the book.
Frantically. With, like, one hand, the other hand was, like, holding
a phaser.
Yeah,
his foot was, like, moving the starship.
Oh my god. It was, like, it's a case of, like, good crew, good concept.
Horrible execution.
Not horrible execution, just, like, you could have done better execution.
Like, I wish this was more execution.
Which is so easy for me to say. Like, I've never produced a TV show, so it's so easy for me to sit here and be like, it could have been better. I just didn't like the writing, like the direction that they went for it, but,
Yeah.
So, yeah, you asked me, Alex, at the beginning of the episode, who I thought the best captain was. But honestly, every Star Trek fan has their own personal, like, favorite. And I feel like
everyone's gonna give, like, a concise reason why.
Everyone has a star sign, everyone has a favorite color, and everyone has a favorite series. And when you have a favorite Star Trek series,
that's the new star sign. Is what's your favorite Star Trek series?
No, really, because when you can choose from like Enterprise, original series, Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, that's like 5 right there.
Discovery, the animated series.
Yeah, Discovery animated series. That is 7. Not counting like the movies and stuff. Also the reboot. Like you could say the reboot. I'm not gonna yell at you. So that's 8. Like, you can tell a lot about someone from their favorite Star Trek series. I'm just putting that out there. And no matter, like, whatever your favorite Star Trek series is, you're going to have a bias towards those characters and that captain, which is why, obviously, I have a bias towards Deep Space Nine. I apologize for it. I try to focus on the original series because I get that that's more accessible to everyone. That's usually Star Trek fans.
That's the granddaddy of all, like, Star Trek and sci-fi.
It is. It's the original series was literally iconic for its time. It was stepping outside of so many barriers, so I really try to respect that and focus on it because that's what it deserves. But at the same time, Deep Space Nine was so excellent,
and like owns your entire ass.
The writing could have been much better. Don't get me. I just feel like the direction they went for some characters was really bad. All right.
The whole Odo Kira romance arc was...
Shut up. Don't even talk about the romances. I will lose my whole mind. You know this.
All right. You got a Yahoo for me?
I do. We were using Yahoo questions because, guys, I literally...
Please, we are begging you. Even if you just clicked on this and was like, oh, I'll give this a listen. Even if you're not a regular viewer, please just send us a question.
Like, you do not understand how much it would mean to us for you to send us a question. Think about it. If nobody else is sending us questions, there is 100% guarantee we will answer your question on this podcast. No matter how stupid,
that's pretty amazing. Don't you want 6 people to know?
No matter how
that's your question?
No matter how silly your question is. So you want our thousands and thousands of listeners to hear your question and hear it be answered. It could be silly. It could be a joke. It could be something that you care a lot about. Something, even if you have like maybe a recommendation for something you want us to discuss. You know?
Just please.
Just anything. Please. Just shoot us a quick email at trekkie.5@yahoo.com.
So give me that good Yahoo.
This is from Yahoo user. Sorry, something has gone wrong. Thank you.
My favorite. This one's from Ducat Lover 69.
69420. And if this is your question, hit us up. They ask, Star Trek question: who would be stronger, Worf, Spock, or Khan? And the reason I chose this question, Alex, is because I quite like the idea of Star Trek Fight Club.
No, that's very good. Just the idea of them, like 3 of them duking it out in a metal cage in a basement somewhere. It's really funny to me.
That's what I'm talking about. So, like, who would be stronger? Let's do these 3 first, and then we can just have a little discussion about maybe some fights. Maybe
all right, my money
Worf,
is
Spock, or Khan.
My money's on Worf, personally.
Ooh,
because,
okay. Why?
Well, Khan is arrogant, so he's gonna not take Worf and Spock seriously, especially Spock since he's faced him in the past, sorta. So I'm gonna say he's gonna discount those 2, and Spock and Worf are gonna team up on Khan to get him out of the running first.
Ooh.
And I just think Klingons are stronger than Vulcans.
No, Alex.
Personally.
This is like a triple cage match. This is every man for himself.
Yeah, no, but you see I don't really watch wrestling, but sometimes 2 wrestlers will gang up on another wrestler, then turn on each other.
Interesting.
So I feel like that's gonna happen, and then Worf is just gonna destroy Spock's, twink ass. No offense to Spock.
Worf, who's a Klingon, who's, and Klingons are a warrior race. They're very strong. They're very, very good, skilled with fighting. If you give Worf a bat lift, I'm sure that he could do some serious damage. If it's just fists, I will point out...
there was that one episode where they were, locked in that prison camp with the
Jem'Hadar.
Jem'Hadar.
Worf beat the whole shit out of a bunch of Jem'Hadar. Like, I've seen that. That's pretty impressive. So Worf has, like, the whole Klingon thing on his side, the whole training thing. He has an incredible amount of endurance. That sort of whole fighting spirit, honor sort of belief that the Klingons have. I feel like he's got a lot of heart. Spock has the... Okay, Spock has the physical and mental strength of a Vulcan. Spock has the skill and the intellect, the ability to, like, I don't know, sort of take apart his opponent, know what to do, know the moves.
Yeah, but, like, here's the thing. Worf's a pretty observant and smart guy. Like, I'm pretty sure he could... I don't know, I don't think he could psychoanalyze Spock on the spot, but I'm pretty sure he could just, pummel him.
Also, I will say this, Vulcan nerve pinch.
Ooh.
Vulcan nerve pinch.
Yeah, but, like, there's gotta be a counter to that, and if anyone's gonna know a counter to that, it's gonna be Worf. Like, he's gonna grab Spock's, like, wrist before he can get to him.
Also, Khan...
Now...
He was genetically altered to be stronger, smarter, faster than a normal
Worf?
human. So, like, how much of an advantage does that, give him?
Oh, Khan.
Because
see, I think it gives... What?
Worf and Spock have, like, definitely... Well, they all have strength. They all have enormous amounts of strength. That agility, though...
See, I don't think it's more of a strength contest. I think it's more of like a chess match almost, as nerdy as that sounds. And like I said before, Khan is pretty arrogant. He would be able to get some really good punches in, but in the end, he'd overestimate himself and then allow himself to slip up. Meanwhile...
Yeah, but we've already seen that, like, Khan is like an augment, and we've already seen that he is, well, his intelligence was enhanced. Are you telling me that he couldn't, predict?
Well, he was defeated before, correct?
Yeah, he was. They were all defeated before at some point, Alex.
That's fair.
They have all three of these people, I guarantee it, have been beaten in a fight at least once.
Now, I'm going to ask a question.
Maybe not killed, but defeated.
Do you think Spock has previous knowledge on Khan in this fistfight, or do you think they're all going in fresh?
I'm saying they're all going in fresh.
Okay,
because this question does say who would be stronger, and
okay,
I immediately went fight. I immediately went fight. Well, let's think about it in sort of like a tractor pull.
If it's a weightlifting contest, I think Khan would win just because he's augmented. Mm-hmm. But I don't know I don't know like the exact way he was augmented. Like I don't know how strong they made him, how much he can bench. But I think it's either going to be Khan or Worf. Like, I love Spock, but, like, unless he's in Pon Farr, I don't think he'd lift as much as those two.
Well, that depends, right? Because it's like, in the Star Trek universe, what's stronger? Like, a Klingon, a Vulcan, or a human augment? Like, it really depends on the hard stats. But just at a glimpse, at sort of, like, just taking them all at face value. And we're not just talking Klingon, Vulcan, augment. We're talking Worf, Spock, Khan. So, like, just thinking of those which one do you think could bench more?
Worf, because he's got sheer determination.
Oh, that's an excellent point. I feel like...
And I just keep thinking back to the Jem'Hadar, and he literally took on, like, almost their entire garrison.
Yeah, but he was not...
I mean, yeah, he wasn't in good shape, but he did it.
Yeah, he did. I feel like, Worf has the sort of passion that you just don't see with Spock. Well, okay, Khan has a lot of passion, but his passion, I would say, is more world domination based.
Yeah, like, if he doesn't feel motivated to fight, like, for a reason, he's just not going to take it seriously.
Is more leaning towards logic. So, yeah, you do have a good point with, like, Worf having, like, his heart and soul into this thing.
Especially if, like, his friends are cheering him on. He's like, yeah! That's my wife over there!
It's a good day to die.
Hey, babe! I'm assuming Jessie is over there.
Oh, yeah, she is.
cheering him on. Sidelines. Being like, get him, baby!
Throwing dollar bills.
So yeah, that's my take on it.
I really love Star Trek Fight Club.
I really do enjoy that too. Now, who would win in a fight? Bones, Julian.
Oh my god, no!
Or Dr. Phlox.
Who would win in a fight? Alright, who would win in a fight? Leonard Horatio McCoy, Dr. Julian Bashir, or Dr. Phlox? Oh my god.
My money is on Bones.
Let's talk stats.
See, Julian, again, he's got the human augment, but he is a soft boy.
No. That's something we have to take into account. If you're going to talk about a fight between Bones, Julian, and Phlox, let's say it's all at the same time. I love Bones. I love Leonard Horatio McCoy with all my heart and soul. He's my favorite character from the original series. I'm just going to put that out there. That's true. I love him. He's like one of my favorite CMOs of the Star Trek universe. Julian is a close second. They're practically tied. Like, I love both of these boys, but as you've mentioned before, Julian is a human augment. Like, he is physically stronger than McCoy. If they were in some sort of
Here's the thing,
match,
though.
Julian would have a clear advantage.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Julian is a soft boy. He doesn't like to harm other people, usually, unless the circumstances are right. Bones, on the other hand, is a tired Southern man. Are you kidding me? He would, like, Julian would be like, oh my god, it's Dr. McCoy. I'm such a huge fan of, like, your work and everything. And then Bones would just hypospray him.
I just feel like that's a very
not
good
hypospray.
Point,
He'd just knock him out.
Julian is a very friendly boy, and from what we've seen,
I don't know anything about Dr. Phlox.
Dr. Phlox would kill both of them in a second. But let's get back to this. Let's get back to this match. Dr. Phlox would have them both out. I truly believe in that man. There's just something about Dr. Phlox that makes me feel like he would just here's what would be going on. It would be Julian and McCoy, and they would be duking it out. Not really duking it out so much as they are, like, trying to duke it out and horribly failing. And meanwhile...
Yeah, like, you got Julian who doesn't want to hurt anyone, and Bones who's an old man.
Who's that climbing up the ladder? Is that... Doctor... What is he doing? Is that a chair? Oh my god! Dr. Phlox, listen, he does
Even
not
just
care.
His name is powerful.
Dr. Phlox is the most powerful being in Star Trek. First of all... He's
besides
unto
Q.
God. Q is nothing compared to the almighty power of Dr. Phlox. And like, no, I love Phlox. I feel like Phlox was one of the things that made Star Trek Enterprise bearable. Like, he honestly, and he has some sad things that happen, and it's whatever. But like, in a fight, here's the thing. Dr. Phlox could take McCoy, but Julian could take Dr. Phlox. I have to back my boy Julian Bashir in this fight.
But Bones could take Julian.
Bones could not. Dr. McCoy could not take Dr. Bashir in a fight. No way.
Here's the thing.
First of all, okay, go on.
Julian would fall for his tricks.
Julian, what tricks, Alex?
Well, I mean, Bones doesn't mean to trick him, but I feel like he's just...
Oh, yeah.
He'd just be so excited to meet the Dr. McCoy that he'd forget he's in a fight, and then Bones would, like, use some medicine to knock him out.
I feel like you're not giving Julian enough credit as, yes, his whole character is sort of, like, a naive... Like, he's supposed to be, like...
Okay, are we talking Season 1 Julian or Season 9 Julian?
Ooh, that is such a good point, Alex. I'm glad you brought that up, because Season 1... this year, he's fresh out of Starfleet.
Season 1 Julian would lose in a fight with Dr. McCoy. Season 9 Julian would win.
Whereas Season 9 Julian Bashir, oh no, that boy will tussle. That boy has been through Section 31, has been through like the entirety of the Dominion War. All of these horrible, bad things have happened that he's had to deal with. like, season 1 Julian Bashir might lose. Also, like, the whole, like, genetic enhancements thing, season 1, he's definitely keeping that under wraps. That is a huge secret. No one can know. Whereas Julian, like, in season 9, is like, yeah, that's just how it be. So, like, I definitely feel like, yes, if it was season 1 Bashir, you're right. Bones might have some sort of chance there, some sort of opening. But if it's season 9 Bashir, Bones is going down, and that is
here's my recap of this fight. Season 1, Julian loses to McCoy. McCoy loses to Phlox. Season 9, Julian wins the entire fight.
Because, like, I know, and, like, I get that you have a lot of hope for McCoy. I do, too. But when you're talking about Julian Bashir, who has enhanced, like, intelligence, physical strength, and reflexes, like, you know what I mean? Just, like, pure, like, strength-wise, the good doctor does not have a chance.
That's true. He could break McCoy's brittle body.
Plus, I feel like that's another thing, too, is that Julian throws people off. Like, oh, look at me, I'm just a small twink. And then it's like, oh, joke's on you. You don't even know.
I have another query for you.
Ooh, okay.
Garrick?
Oh, no.
Don't know, no, it's gonna be okay. Uhura.
Oh, no.
And you ready for this one?
Yep.
Riker.
Wait, was that pause because you were like, I need to think of someone quick?
No.
And then you immediately went to Riker, our least favorite character.
Our least favorite character. No, actually, I changed my mind.
Okay.
Data.
Oh no! Wait, so
Garrick, Data, and Uhura get into a fist fight. Who wins?
Oh my god. Okay, first of all, this is coming way from left field. This is one hell of a matchup. So far, did we figure out who won in the Worf-Spock-Khan fight?
Worf.
Worf? Okay, we going with Worf? Yeah, okay, I'll agree with that. Did we figure out who would win in the McCoy-Bashir Phlox fight?
Julian. We're going, and we're assuming it's season 9, Julian.
Alright, so in the Garrick, Data, Uhura fight, who wins? Alex, I'm gonna give me your hot take first, and then I'll comment.
So my hot take is that Garrick is a crafty son of a bitch, but I don't think he wins this fight.
I was literally about to say that. Like, Garrick, former member of the Obsidian Order, has a lot of, but like, against Data, who is literally an android.
I think
and Uhura,
Data beats Garrick.
Is an actual goddess.
And Uhura beats Data.
So you're saying she definitely wins this fight?
Yes.
Against both Data and Garrick?
Yes.
Very worthy opponents.
She is kind of a genius. I feel like her prowess extends to, like, battlefield.
She's gonna get out of this fight with her pure, like, street smarts.
Yeah, and I feel like her intellect can extend to, like, battlefield just tactics, and she can do all this shit on the fly.
She's a communications officer, Alex.
Yeah, but you still gotta be smart to get into Starfleet. She's been in scraps. She knows how to hold her own.
I love her, and I really do love her so much. But how does she finesse her way out of this fight? You have to tell me. Because also I believe she could just roll up her sleeves and have at it. But how does she finesse her way out of this death match?
So, first, Data beats the shit out of Garrick.
Hold on! Why do you say that?
Well, he's kind of an android, and I'm assuming he has... I'm assuming he has greater strength than the average cookie.
Actually, now that I think about it, so Garrick definitely does have good stats, but there is one episode of The Next Generation where Data stops a car with his hand.
Yeah, so there we go.
He just does. He just sticks out his hand and the car is stopped.
He punches Garrick in the jugular and knocks him out.
Why would you say that?
Just because.
Hey,
And
Alex,
then,
I think if Lieutenant Data punched Elam Garrick in the neck, I think it would do a whole lot more than knock him out.
I didn't want to say die.
Physically.
I didn't want to bum you out.
No, I didn't want you to say kill him either. That's why I was like, oh boy, I hope Alex doesn't say punch him in the throat, and you did. Oh my god. What is wrong with you? This is a fight. It's like Pokemon. They're not actually gonna die.
Yeah, no, I feel like he can hold
like,
back his strength a little bit.
Chokes Garrick out.
Anyway,
into the
I feel like
Uhura
knows, even though she's from the original series, I feel like she knows her way around machinery just because of like hanging around Scotty so much.
But Data isn't like any machine. He's a specific type of android, one of the only
do computer paradoxes apply to him?
What?
Do computer paradoxes apply to him? Because I know there's certain questions you can ask.
You cannot break him by asking questions. That is a firm no on my part. You cannot do that.
Alright.
Because he would just give you a smart-ass answer.
He's got to have an off switch somewhere.
His off switch is on his taint.
I'm sorry.
So you have to, if you really want this.
I feel like Uhura could like punch him hard enough in the taint that it switches
I'm guessing
it off.
That's where it is. I don't know that for sure. That's like probably not canon. But if I was building a robot, and oh my god.
What?
In the ass.
In the ass?
Yeah.
Alright, well, Uhura wears heels. I feel like she could kick him hard enough as he's, like, punching Garrick in the throat.
Stop saying that!
No!
It's giving me a really bad visual.
Good! I want you to have a bad visual of Data choking out Elam Garrick and Lieutenant Uhura kicking Data so hard in the ass her heel goes up it and turns him off. You wanted to ask how she wins, and I tell you.
Okay. But I feel like that's not really fair, because you said Uhura would win the fight, but you're telling me that she waits until Data has already taken care of Garrick before she strikes and takes care of Data. So you're telling me her strategy is to let this take care of itself and then come in and defeat Data.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, Alex. I don't know how she would sneak up on him to turn him off, you know, how she would
Well, when he's cornering Garrick, he's not going to be paying attention to her.
You'd think that, but I'm pretty sure
because Garrick is, like I said, Garrick is crafty.
Yeah, I feel like we did not give Elam Garrick enough credit in this fictional fight we've created. I feel like Garrick could hold his own for like a while. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, exactly. It's when Data's like chasing him around and trying to hurt him.
Actually, no. Because I feel like every time Garrick shows up and does some badass stuff, it's with like a phaser or like a laser rifle of some kind.
Oh no, he definitely has hand-to-hand combat.
No, I totally agree with you. His hand-to-hand combat is probably really good. He could probably beat the shit out of people. I'm just saying, we've seen it, but like, I don't think I've seen it enough.
Do neck pinches, like, he could do a Cardassian neck
a car with his hand, pinch. Is what I'm saying. Like, we haven't, oh wait, actually, are you talking about The Wire right now?
Yes.
Because I just realized, as I said that we do see a scene where he literally throws Bashir over a table like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
We have seen a scene where Garrick
literally also Bashir is a twink.
Bashir off the ground with minimal effort and does almost choke him to death. Yeah.
No, I feel like definitely like Garrick would pose a challenge to Data, but I feel like Data would focus all of his energy on trying to get Garrick that he wouldn't pay attention to his no-no zone.
So she could get in there, turn him off.
Yes. Yes.
Can I ask you a question now?
What?
So we're definitely saying that she wins that fight.
Are you gonna say who wins in a fight, Uhura, Julian, or Worf?
No. We can save that till the end because I have a question. Who would win? death cage match. I don't watch wrestling, but like it's a really big cage match.
Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell. Who would win? Kirk, Picard, Cisco, Janeway, Archer. Who would win?
All right. Well,
let's say it's it's an all-around captain death match. Who wins?
Picard goes down first. I don't know who does it, but someone does. No offense to him, but he is a philosopher.
I feel like he could distract people by talking, though. Like he could talk.
If this is a death match, no one's gonna be distracted by talking.
No, I'm just saying that's one of his big skills is that he like talks people down until he can, get in there.
Yeah, but these are captains who have seen some shit.
Okay. Anyway,
I just feel like can I
Picard,
continue?
That's like his. Oh yeah, okay.
I'm not done. Kirk, love him to death, but he goes down second.
That's bullshit. But go on.
Then it's the terrible three: Cisco, Janeway, and Archer.
No.
I feel like.
Here's what I think, though. I think that Archer. I feel like all the other captains know some crazy alien shit that Archer might not have experience with.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Okay,
I feel like
Archer goes down first
experienced.
because I revised this.
Archer goes down first. In my opinion.
Yeah, Archer goes down first because Kirk does the Vulcan neck pinch on him somehow. Then Picard, and they just kick him in the nuts while he's like waxing philosophical. Someone does. I don't know who. Maybe Janeway.
He tries to talk them down like, oh, we don't have to do this, we're better than this. Come on. And then they all just like...
Yes. Because this isn't like a situation where an alien has It isn't a situation with like an alien who's like, okay, fight for my amusement. I feel like this is just all around good time. Let's all get into a fight.
I think Cisco and Janeway are literally unstoppable force meets immovable object.
Yeah, no, they're definitely the last two standing, but I think in the end...
Okay, but like, Kirk is Cisco's idol. I don't think Cisco would be able...
that's true. That's why I think Janeway takes Kirk down.
Okay.
And then once it's Janeway and Cisco... As much as I love Cisco and he's a shady bitch who I adore,
right?
I feel like Janeway would win.
I was gonna say Janeway too.
Yeah, because Cisco, he's crafty, but like you can't really be crafty when Janeway is coming at you, fists flying.
Yeah, because Janeway is she's crafty, but she's also a physical force to be reckoned with. If you took away like her coffee and just let it and be like, yeah, Cisco took your coffee. Like, you're dead. You're a dead man. You understand? He's going to ruin you.
So that's my thing. Janeway wins.
Janeway wins?
Janeway wins. Now, who wins in a fight? Worf, Julian, or Uhura?
Okay.
What's your take on it?
Who wins in a fight? Worf, Son of Moog, Lieutenant Nyota Uhura, or Dr. Julian Bashir?
Yes.
That is a very, very good question. Oh no.
I
think about unstoppable force meets immovable object.
Here's my hot take on it.
Okay, alright.
Worf goes down first.
That's such bullshit, and you know it.
You know what?
I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love Uhura. I love her. But
she's not winning this fight.
She knows she can fight a bitch. She can fight. She can definitely fight. She's a communications officer, especially for talking about like reboot, because then she definitely knows hand to hand. Like, she is smart. She is strong. She is wonderful. However, I feel like in this match, she has a disadvantage. She has a strength disadvantage, because we're not talking about Uhura fighting a bunch of, like, humans, in which case she would have the clear advantage. We're talking about Uhura fighting a human augment and a Klingon, both of which she's outclassed. They're both physically stronger than a human. It's just, like, she's at a clear disadvantage.
Yeah, so Uhura goes down first, unfortunately. Now, who would win, Julian and Worf? Because I feel like this was covered in an episode, but I don't remember.
I don't think they've fought, like, seriously. Like, genuinely, like, deathmatch seriously. But I feel like, and this is probably taking a lot of liberties, I feel like Worf would win, and here's why. I feel like deep down, Julian doesn't think he deserves to win.
Aww.
And I think he would wave a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think...
Yeah,
I feel like once you take, like, you know, like, Worf, you know, for all that this is worth, not to be, like, you know, a jerk or anything, but he is a Klingon. And I feel like once that good old, like, bloodlust fight, like, spirit comes in, and then you've got Julian, who is, you know, he's a human. And he has human feelings and a human culture, and I just feel like...
And Worf is his friend.
And he has a lot of feelings, and I feel like he has a lot of, like...
And I feel like...
hatred.
If he was the one to take Uhura down, he would be pretty distraught.
No, that's what I mean, like, immediately. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like he would, even if, like, subconsciously... Because, like, he like, subconsciously got second in his class. Because he could have been first in his class, but he didn't. Like, he kind of, well, I mean, that's sort of implied. You can believe what you want to believe. But he sort of waived it, because I feel like deep down he thought he didn't deserve it, because of who he was. And I just feel like that applies here. Like, I feel like maybe even subconsciously he would sort of give the fight to Worf, because he wouldn't want to have to deal with.
And once again, Worf has that stamina, that heart, that determination.
That endurance, yeah.
So, Worf is our big winner of the day. Woo!
Worf is this. Oh wait, actually, I have a question.
Huh?
That relates to, you know what? If we're gonna be doing this, and Worf is our champion.
Make it snappy.
Make it snappy.
Make it snappy.
Okay, hold on. I really have to pee, so I'm like channeling that energy right now.
That was too much information for our listeners, TJ.
Anyway, here's our second question.
We don't have time for a second question, TJ.
Are you serious?
We do not have time for a second question.
We talked about hypothetical death matches for 50 minutes. This is the best thing ever. Can this just be a hypothetical fight podcast? I don't want to do anything else.
We spent 30 minutes on the intro and the rest of the time on the hypothetical death match.
We spent 30 minutes on the intro talking about Captain versus Captain, and then we immediately went to, like, but what if they fist fought? That's just what happened. What happened was we were like, okay, yeah, character versus character, this is nice, but what if they were in a cage? Like, our monkey brain instincts took over, and we immediately were like, death, 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 death.
We want fight!
This is actually crazy. Okay, well, yeah, we can save the question then. I'm kind of sad now. It really relates, but that's okay.
That's a treat for 2 days from now, dear listeners.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Yeah, we sure did spend a lot of time talking about hypothetical death matches.
But what? There's nothing more fun than a hypothetical death match. Except
it's
for
true.
Like
it's like watching like dolls fight, and it's great.
Except for like who's more likely to look at memes and vape.
Okay, well that's gonna be Aleem Garrick. Anyway, bye.
Goodbye. It's been fun.
Thanks for listening.
If you enjoyed this podcast, you can subscribe to us on YouTube or look us up on Bandcamp. Just search Trekkie and a Half.
Or email us at trekkieandahalf@yahoo.com to send us your questions.
We hope you enjoyed it. We sure hope we boldly went.
Bye.
See you next time.